OTAN, Outreach and Technical Assistance Network.
My name is Jennifer Gagliardi. I'm with Milpitas Adult School, which is a very, very small adult school in the San Jose, South Bay area. Because we were a small school, we were blessed to have Branca Marqueta there, and she basically encouraged us to develop our tech skills, and we've carried on that tradition ever since. So shout out to Branca, and may she be blessed in all her good works. Okay, so let's see if I can actually get into the presentation. The reason why I've been doing YouTube for so long is because I was basically dropped into a citizenship class because the teacher was really sick. And because they were sick, I had to, this was also just after 9/11. So the materials they had were really bad, were really old. People had to wait about 22 months for their for any new material or for their appointments. So I started developing my own materials, started doing podcasting in 2007, and quickly went into producing videos, just things shot on a a phone camera and then upload it to YouTube, and those are actually still really popular. So let me try to get to the slideshow and do the actual presentation. Okay, so today we're going to try to talk about adding content to a YouTube channel. We're going to create playlists to deliver targeted content, and if we have any further questions about closed captions, privacy, etc., for future webinars, we would really like to hear about that. So checking the chat right this very second, is there any questions that people are interested in having addressed? Okay, so Lisa's done a really good job talking about creating a YouTube channel. I just want to emphasize a few things that she was talking about. A lot of people, if you have a Gmail account, you automatically have a YouTube account. Simply log into Gmail with your Google account and you can create a channel yourself. Can you create a YouTube channel with other non-Gmail accounts? Yes, you can. I think it's a little bit difficult. And you want to make it as easy as possible so YouTube can pay you. So that's one thing to consider, okay? So here we have, I think Alisa did a really good job about talking about customizing your channel. Let's move on. Some of the content that you could upload to your YouTube channel, of course, you could do cell phone videos, you can do live streams, PowerPoint presentations saved as MP4s, and I actually do that a lot. I will create PowerPoints, save them as MP4s, and then upload them. I like to record meetings via Google Meet and Zoom, and I do have a really quick 20-second video that I would like to show you from a Zoom meeting that I did today and how I upload that and how I would process that. And of course, we have screencasts via Loom and Screencastify. Settings that I really want to emphasize, you want to make sure that your privacy is set to public. Well, maybe you want to keep it private initially as you're building your channel, but you do want it to be public eventually so your students can find you. You do want to choose this category education, and you do want to check standard YouTube license or Creative Commons license. I personally like the standard YouTube license because if somebody takes your videos and uploads it as their own and then monetizes it, you have automatic recourse to YouTube for them to take down those videos.
Hey, Jennifer.
Yes, please.
Can you explain what a live stream is? That was one of the options.
So live stream, you could do that. I've only done this maybe 3 times, okay? Some people, when they're teaching, they might create a live stream on Facebook, or they can even do it on YouTube. So while you're talking, the second you're talking, it's being broadcasted on your YouTube channel. And when that's happening, people can basically comment on what you're doing. So it's basically conveying the freshest information to your audience as soon as possible. So that's one good thing about live streaming. One problem with live streaming is sometimes it's difficult to incorporate informational graphics. You have problems like I have. Sometimes I stammer because my mind thinks faster than my mouth does. So that's the kind of things that you may want to consider on live streaming. But we could play around with that, and maybe we could talk. I could think harder about what would be the benefit. I know BPSOS, the boat people, they were doing live streams of some of their classes, saving the recordings, and then uploading it to their YouTube channel. And it was public, and eventually I believe it went private to preserve the privacy of their students and to basically obey copyrights restrictions. So if BPS or the boat people here would like to address that, that would be really good. But live streaming is a way to easily use the YouTube platform to connect with more people. Unfortunately, if you're doing it on YouTube, it's going to be a little bit harder to control that audience. Any further questions? Okay.
Yeah, Amanda's asking, does it cost money to create YouTube videos?
No, it absolutely does not. Okay. So especially if you're just starting out, again, you could, let me see if I could go back. All this content that I have out here is free. I mean, you might pay for a Screencastify subscription, but that's going to be after the fact. You're paying for to get more access to tools. So are you paying YouTube to upload your content? You're basically, as teachers, we're not doing that. There might be things with product placements. I simply can't talk to that. But for most part, uploading stuff to YouTube and sharing your content is free. Any further information? Did I address the question?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you. And Jody confirmed what you were talking about, BPSOS.
Yeah. BPSOS is doing outstanding work in citizenship and citizenship prep. So just really respect them and all the things they do. Okay, so I'm sorry, let me step back to the previous slide. So I talked about the licensing. Now we're going to go on to another account information. You want to make sure that you uncheck, you may want to uncheck allowing advertisements to be displayed along your videos. If you allow advertisements, you're going to get more views, more people can discover you because you're letting YouTube use your channel to do advertising. That's one thing. So if you're interested in getting more views, that's something that you want to do. If you want to basically lock down your channel and so your students don't get distracted by other advertisements, you're going to want to maybe say no to that, okay? So that's a decision that you would have to make later on. Here's another thing that you always want to make sure that your saved playlist, you want to, it's originally it's checked that it's private. You want to uncheck that because you want to make sure that your playlists are public so your students can find that information. And here I just reiterate that. If you need more help in creating your channels, of course, go to YouTube Creator Academy, and they have some really good, not only the videos, but they have the courses that behind the videos that can help you pursue more actions and answer your questions about advertising and branding, all sorts of stuff like that. One of the things that I want to talk about with YouTube, and I know myself when I speak, I want to just simply talk about the hierarchy. If you have a single video, so for instance, here's a single video that I just did about what's happening with the latest stuff on USCIS. You can put that video into a playlist. So for instance, I have all these videos related to news alerts. So this video is now showing up here. It's like the second to last video I just made. So it goes from video to playlist, and then your channel is composed of all the videos and all the created playlists and imported playlists that you've brought in. Any questions right now? All right.
Nope, we're all good.
Okay, so again, here's the basic channel again. You always want to have a feature video that basically welcomes people to your channel so your students know, hey, I'm in the right place. And they want to know what's the subject that's going to be addressed here. So for instance, the most recent citizenship video I did was 15 minutes long. I can't believe that I could talk about citizenship for only 15 minutes. So I guess I was getting running out of steam. But nobody's going to stay around to watch the most recent video for 15 minutes. So I simply took the slides that I had and I turned it into an MP4 video, which was like less than 3 minutes long. So the person didn't, if they need the content, but they're not willing to listen to the whole thing, or they're only interested in a certain part of that, they were able to watch the shorter video. And that shorter video now is up on my YouTube the YouTube channel as something that welcomes people to the channel. You have your own uploads. And what do I mean by uploads? These are the videos that you create yourself. And hopefully we'll have enough time for me to show you uploading a video. The created playlists that are the things that you pick and choose and put into an own playlist. And I'm going to focus most of my remarks on that. And you could also save a playlist. So for instance, you could say, wow, I really like this whole thing that Mark Kulik did about recipes. So, but instead of downloading everything and uploading it, or basically picking one by one and putting it into a playlist, you can import the entire playlist to your website. And then there's also featured channels that are chosen by you. So what is a playlist? A playlist is an ordered list of videos allowing viewers to watch multiple videos in a predetermined order by a playlist. And this is really critical because a playlist, when you're presenting as an ESL teacher or a citizenship teacher, if you want to help your students remember things more easily, you want to think about scope and sequence. So you want to put it's not just good enough to do a topic. You want to have the videos build on each other to basically increase mastery for the students. And also it helps them develop good viewing practices themselves. A playlist can be composed of videos uploaded by yourself or videos uploaded by another created and then saved and imported to your list. So if you have any more questions, please take a picture of this one slide. And the bit.ly is bit.ly/playlist-help. So this will be able to answer any more of your questions about building playlists or basically managing your channel. So I would like you to take a minute, basically put that in here. So somebody said we were talking about the icon last time, and I understand it's called Pancake Plus. I think that's called a tall stack in the Midwest. Short stack is, I think it's 2 pancakes. Tall stack is 3 pancakes. Or seems in the Midwest that they're a little bit more generous with their starch, so it might be 4 or 5 pancakes. But the point is that might be an alternative way to talk about this icon. It's an add icon, and basically you're adding things to a playlist. So you want to start with a video that you want in the playlist. Under the video, you want to click the add to icon. You want to select watch later. So that's going to put it in a queue for yourself, and then you could come back and watch it at another time. Or it's almost like bookmarking it. That's the closest I can think of it. And then, or you could create a new playlist, or you can add it to a playlist. And if you create a new playlist, you have to enter the playlist name and use the drop-down box to select your playlist privacy setting. If it's private, only you can view the playlist. And this is going to be important because sometimes we're going to want to create special playlists for particular students, and we want to share the URL for that playlist with our students, but we don't want that to be public. And then you click create. So let me show you 2 ways of adding a video to a playlist. So here I am on Mark Kulik's wonderful channel. He basically shows me, has a great video about vegetables. I look here for the tall stack icon or the add icon. I don't have any playlist yet on my Milpitas ESL1 channel, so I create a playlist and I type in the word vegetables. Now, one thing that you're not seeing here is that you don't see the privacy. So let me go over that again. This is another way to add a video to a playlist. You could just do a general search up in the search box. I wanted to type ESL vegetables, and there were at least 50 videos about vegetables. Now, a lot of the stuff were aimed towards kids, and I'm trying to teach adults. So I was picking and choosing some of the vegetables, but immediately I know that I wanted the video from 7ESL. 7ESL is a really great channel that does a lot with vocabulary, idioms, phrases, those kind of things. And basically it associates a picture with the vocabulary word. And basically it kind of graphically organizes some of the vocabulary. So I really like that video. So here I'm trying to save it to a playlist. Again, there's the name of vegetables. And here I'm trying to decide how I want the privacy of the playlist. If it's public, anybody who goes to my channel will be able to see it. If it's unlisted, this is something that I'm going to preserve specifically for specific students, and private only I'm going to be able to see it. So anyway, so does anybody have any questions right here, right this second?
So far, everything's very quiet. You're doing a good job.
They're like, yeah, it's Jennifer. We've seen this before. So
no,
now,
it's good.
I want to get to modifying a playlist. So here it is. I've gone out. I gathered 5 playlists. 5 or 6 videos. Here it is in the playlist. From here, I can copy this URL and email it out to my students. Very easy. However, the magic comes when I basically start modifying the playlist and start moving things around. So I'm gonna try to drop out of my screen right now and show you how I basically can modify this playlist. Okay, so I'm going to escape from this right now. I'm going to do a new share. Hopefully I'm going to end up, I'm going to hope that I'm going to end up in my YouTube channel. That's what I want to do. So here is my YouTube channel. I'm going to go to my channel. Here's one about vegetables. Now I want to modify it.
Writing's not that easy.
So I see that. I'm going to click it, and here it is. And so basically it would be, I would want to, here I could basically modify the title. Here I could modify the privacy. Here I could do a description. Okay, that's no problem. However, what I was saying about scope and sequence, how do you create interest and excitement in your videos? So one way that you can do it, you could basically start talking about sorting. And if you wanted to talk about the playlist settings, you could just say, hey, if I add a new video, it's going to go to the top of the playlist. That's one way to do it. Or advanced settings, I could say, hey, I want to do the things that based on the newest one added or the one that is published. So let's see what it does to that. So now, cancel. So now it has been changed. So what I'm sitting there and say, it's like, okay, it's KO's, vegetables, fruits and vegetables, cooking, things like that. I think it's a little bit hard. I'm going to try to make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. Can you see that a little bit better? I hope.
Yes.
So what I'm going to try to do is I want people to know the names. And then a lot of my students love to garden, so they're going to see that within the context of gardening. And then they're going to make the connection between gardening, growing those vegetables, and cooking those vegetables. So what am I? So what I'm going to do? I don't want to delete the playlist. What I want to do is basically move things around. So the first one I want to do is I want to basically take this Mark Kulik one that I know is very basic, and it's now going to change to it's going to be ordered manually. Save.
Jennifer, can you do me a favor? Can we
Yeah.
go back just one? So you got to your channel, and then how did you get to this particular section of your channel?
Let me step back. Step back too far. Okay, great. So when I originally was setting this up, this wasn't even here. When I went there this morning, I'm going to basically delete this. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to basically, let's see, can't delete. Here's basically the naked channel. You got an M for Milpitas. You got poppies because we're in California, okay? So here I'm basically at my home. And I'm going to refresh. So here I'm going to want to customize my channel. And when I customize my channel, I'm basically saying I want to add content to my channel. So the first thing I'm going to do is here it says, here is where my normal uploaded videos would appear. So these are videos that I've created, I've uploaded to my YouTube channel, but I haven't really done that yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for content that other people have created. So I'm going to go and add a section. I'm going to look for that created playlist of all those vegetable videos that I've gathered together. I want them to appear in a horizontal row, and now it's done. So now when I take a look at this, this is now appearing on the front page of my YouTube, or yeah, of my Milpitas channel. So let me basically refresh this again. Okay, so now I'm saying, hey, I want to basically change the order of these. I know the order is not good, so I'm going to click the name of the playlist. You could click it here on the front page, or which is even better because maybe we want to basically practice the whole concept of playlists. Go to playlists, click your own playlist, and that's where this screen is going to appear, where you have the videos, and this is where you can reorder them, okay? So we have, because it's manual, because I can make the arrangements of this, we have Mark Kulik first. You're going to push the 7 ESL up to the top. I really like this KO vegetable garden because basically it's a video of a student basically showing his own vegetable garden, and students are going to be so there when they basically see the different vegetables, because frankly when they see some of the vegetables in our stores they can't relate to them, you know. So here he's basically growing some vegetables that they would be familiar with from their home country, and so you're creating immediate interest and immediate content. Here's some more vocabulary about gardening. Here's something about making fresh salsa, because we got to do something with all those tomatoes that we're growing. And it's a very short video about about using the vegetables that you've just picked. Again, with mashed potatoes, I don't think too many people grow potatoes. I do grow potatoes. And here's a more advanced one, gardening with ESL Jennifer. I still we're going to want to maybe move that up. So we have videos about the names. We have videos about gardening vegetables. And now we have videos about vegetable recipes. Okay? Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah, so far so good. So how are you finding these videos? Is it basically just from channels that you've already,
Yeah.
and you're familiar with, or are you just randomly putting it in the search?
You can randomly put stuff in the search, but I really, let me step back into my PowerPoint, okay? So I'm going to do a new share. I'm going to step back into my PowerPoint, and I'm going to hop ahead to some videos, some go-to channel resources, okay? So here's some resources that I'm always going to use. So one of them is Mark Kulik. Now, I used to think Mark Kulik was really stupid, and I'll tell you why. It's because it's colorful, it's bright, it's slow, it's repetitive, it's a little too cute. What I didn't like about the channel is exactly what my students did like of the channel. So when I saw students staying on those videos, talking along with the videos, because the guy allows enough space for the students to talk back, I immediately had to say, hey, this is working for, oh, and when I saw my students being able to replicate that, those grammar things in the classroom, I said, Mark Kulik works. I have to get over my prejudice, okay? So just because it's colorful doesn't mean it's dumb. Just because there's cartoons, it doesn't mean it's dumb. It really works, okay? So you have to learn from your students, okay? They don't always go for the easiest stuff. They don't go for the cutest stuff. They go for stuff that works. So again, here's one of these channels, Mark Kulik. Again, I mentioned 7ESL. Now there's stuff that's would be appropriate for maybe ESL2, all the way up to ESL 4 or 5. They have things in there about idioms, gerunds, all sorts of grammar points that are a little bit more advanced to teach. Really good with collocations and everything. So I use this a lot personally when I teach at community colleges. For multi-level, nobody's better than Jennifer ESL. So she does have an ESL playlist where she's basically teaching a Russian speaker without any board and with very limited visual aids about different things in the class. So she's using everyday English. She just put out another playlist where she's working with 2 other students doing things about everyday English. But she has things that talk about grammar, about all sorts of things about working with more advanced grammar. She did a series about talking about immigration and racism. And if you don't know this about Jennifer ESL, she looks really fair, but she's actually half Filipina and half, I think it's Eastern European. So she talks about assumptions that people make about her, and it was really interesting. So, hey, that's a scam from Los Angeles. You guys leave me alone. Okay, so anyway, there's a lot of variety at Jennifer ESL. I know some people love Rachel's English and everything like that, but those are my 3 go-tos for ESL. Another one, if I'm talking about civics, I'm going to be looking at VOA News and VOA Learning English. So VOA, especially VOA Learning English, with things especially related to the election that's coming up. They have these 1-minute world news report roundup things. But the thing is, if you can't just simply throw a VOA video at your students, you're going to have to create a lot of context and follow up with that. And in my next section after this, I talk about using videos in the classroom, but I think I really need to get back to the playlist. Does anybody have anything to ask before I return to the previous slides.
Yeah, we have a question about
Yeah.
if there's a way to bookmark channels, or is just that the same as making a playlist?
Yeah, there is a way to bookmark. Well, let me show you. Let's see. How can I'm going to have to escape. I'm going to have to basically go back into YouTube. So I have to share again, screen share again, new screen, and I'm going to here. So sorry about that. That's something I wanted to demonstrate. I'm going to go to my channel, and here I'm going to customize my channel. And featured channels, this is really good, especially there's some channels that I really like for my students. So if you've basically maxed out everything here, I want you to basically start taking a look at them. So you could basically say, you can type in Jennifer ESL, see if you can find it. Let's see. I know that for a fact. Let's see if VOA comes up. Can't find out that one. VOA video. Okay, there's VOA News. So you basically click that, done, and now it appears there on your featured channels. You can basically subscribe to it. I think that was one of the reasons why it didn't appear initially when I was pulling it up, because I wasn't subscribed to it. So let's see. Let me try that again. I may have to basically demonstrate that on my US Citizen Pod. Let's see if I can do it one more time. If I can't get it here, then I will basically demonstrate that in another place. Can we find it? Done. It's inviting me to subscribe. Now when I return to my own video, my own channel, home, videos. Okay, so the way I wanted to bookmark it isn't working, so I'm going to have to basically take a look at that again. I'm going to go back to my presentation and figure out what happened after where the presentation is done, okay? So let me go back to new share. Basically, the easiest way to bookmark things is basically subscribe to the different channels. And when you subscribe to the, when you subscribe to the different channels, it's going to appear here under channels, the things that you subscribe to. Okay, again, I need to go back and come here. Any other questions before I return?
Well, Jacqueline was wondering, she was like planning stages right now, and her thinking was just to throw a bunch of videos in there and then organize them later.
Sure, you can do that.
Yeah.
It's going to be, but the only thing is, it's going to be really super difficult for people to find anything, because it's not going to appear on your front page unless you put everything, dump everything into a playlist, like our playlist, because the default on your channel is simply your uploads. So if you're bringing in videos from other places, it's better to organize them at least into one playlist so people can see that.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Present. Okay. Okay, we've seen that slide. We've seen that slide. Okay, I want to talk more about adding playlists to your home page. So here we're going to talk about going to the channel, customizing your channel, clicking that blue button. We're adding some videos, and here we are adding a section. And here we can decide whether we want to, again, do our own content. A lot of content we don't have, but I hope to demonstrate that later this afternoon. We can basically choose organizing content from other channels from that we've made. So here we add a section, we select the content, and I just want to bring a single playlist. I can basically put in the playlist, the URL, and then click done, and you have it. So let me go and basically demonstrate that right this very second on my YouTube channel. So for instance, I'm going to I know that I'm simply going to go to Jennifer ESL. So let me go back. I've gone to, basically I went to Jennifer ESL. I went to her playlists. She has them arranged in a very long series, and she has multiple playlists. She has archives, all sorts of things about politics and elections. If I was on my US Citizen Pod one, I might choose that one. She has a lot of things now about members only videos, but the one I want is the basic English one. So I'm viewing the full playlist, and what I want to do is here, I basically want to I don't want to report the playlist. I want to share that playlist. So I can grab that URL right there. I can copy it. Let's see, I don't think I copied it very well. Or I can go to save the playlist. So now, if I go back to my channel, it's not appearing on my front page. Where does it appear? It's going to be in my library. So that's where I have the stuff with Jennifer ESL. So I want to go back to my home because I want that to be on my front page so it looks like I'm actually doing something on my channel, okay? So I'm going to go to Customize Channel. I'm going to add a section. I'm going to select the content. I have a save play, I could do save playlist, and now here's the save playlist. There's the Jennifer ESL playlist done, and now it's appearing on my front page. And if I want, I can actually move that to the top, and so students would initially go to that one first, okay? So that's
Would you mind
done.
doing one more example?
Sure. Does
Okay,
anybody have another channel? I'm
yeah.
giving Jennifer ESL a lot of free advertisement.
No, Brenda came up with a good one. It's Eng, like English, E-N-G,
Yeah?
vid, V-I-D,
Yeah?
engvidvid.com. Or
Okay.
I guess it would be the YouTube channel.
Okay. 1 second. Is it English Vid with Rebecca? Or because I know they have a lot of different ones. So let's go to their playlists. And their playlist, they have a lot of things about English, common English mistakes, learning English grammar.
Hey, so right here,
Let's
we're
step
out at
back.
one of our solar
Does
installs. You
anybody
can see
have
our guys finishing up, putting some panels up on the roof.
Yeah.
Gotta love those
I don't
advertisements.
Yeah, I don't want to go up on the roof. Anyone that you're interested in, Alisa?
Oh, any instructor would work. Brenda says any instructor would work.
Okay, so do you want the English tenses, or which playlist do you want?
Oh, anyone, pick and choose. Pick your choose.
Okay.
Oh, tenses, sorry. Brenda says tenses is a good one.
The tenses. Okay, so we're going to view that playlist. Again, I could basically copy that video, that URL, or again, I can save that playlist. Now I'm going back to my channel. And when I go back to my channel, I have see some save playlists. I'm not liking the way that that's basically showing up. Oh, here it shows save playlists. So that's, I'm saying, I'm not happy about them because they're squished together. So instead, how can I basically customize that? So I can say, I don't want just those there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll that to the bottom. I'm going to basically turn it from save playlist to single playlist. And when I do single playlist, I'm going to basically have to find which playlist do I want. Do I want my playlist? I don't want my playlist. I want to grab that one playlist and see what happens. So here's Let's Learn English. I want to get another one that basically save playlists. I'm not want my playlist. I'm going to enter one from Hopefully this was the English video one. Done. Yeah, that's right. And then hopefully I can go and get the save playlist. But that's going to bring in all of them. Let's see if I can figure out what Jennifer ESL's yeah, sorry. Okay. I'm going to go back up to customize. I'm going to add a section. The content I want is single playlist. I want to enter the URL. I'm going to put in Jennifer's. Now I have vegetables, let's learn English tenses, and basic English with Jennifer. I think this one is a little bit more intermediate, so we've got something super simple. We've got something a little bit more probably second semester beginners. We have something for maybe first section ESL2, maybe second semester ESL2, and now we got something more advanced for the students in ESL3 and ESL4.
So I don't know if you're going to get to this later on, but how do you introduce your channel or your videos, new videos or playlists to your students, maybe especially to the lower level English students?
One of the things that I do is that I have a blog that basically every day so are you guys seeing the blog that I have?
Yes,
right?
milipitaschat.com.
Yeah. So a lot of students, when they go to the school, to the library, or sorry, to the computer lab, the teacher puts the students immediately on third-party software, like for instance, Oxford Picture Dictionary. I try to avoid those kind of things because a lot of our students don't have access to that software at home. I try to give them access to things that they can also practice at home. So for instance, in one of my single blog posts, I'll give them links to Learning Chocolate. I have an old book here from Taka, the blog from New Readers Press, which unfortunately I put a little bit too much in there. I got to really clean that up. That I discovered that error today. And I'm basically including things from VOA Learning English and pointing them to the full lesson that's on VOA Learning English, and also USA Learns English. Some of my students do have accounts on that. Some of my students found that still a little bit too difficult for them to navigate. But what I try to do is, because an ESL1 class is so diverse and there's so many different literacies going on in ESL1, I try to give them a whole range of activities that they can do. I'm finding that Learning Chocolate is really important because with Learning Chocolate, they learn a lot of mousing skills. I'm finding the fact that they're able to learn how to click something and get the PDF that they need to review for the day. That's really important. And here, telling my students to watch a video has been very unsuccessful for me, except Mark Kulik was successful. Getting them used to watching VOA Learning English, this Let's Learn English series, they're gaining a lot more confidence to watch it themselves. So now I have students reporting back to me that they're watching the whole series by themselves. But you have to give them regular exposure to these materials and basically scaffold them, how you proceed.
Great, that's perfect. So
Okay.
we did have a question that's a little bit off topic, but
sure.
How do you set up a blog?
Okay, so you can use Google Classroom. Okay, that's number one. I created this blog probably in about 2005 5, 6, 7 in there, and it was called Blogger. So, it was Blogger or Blogspot. Does anybody remember off the top of their heads? Anybody remember? Now, a lot of people are simply using, or will simply use instead. They're going to use Google
Jacqueline says
Classroom.
blogger.
Huh?
Jacqueline says blogger. She
Blogger.
remembers them.
Oh, and then okay, so if you go to Blogger, blogger.com, which is now a part of Google. When I originally started, it wasn't. Oh, it's not going to work on mine because I'm basically logged in all over the place, okay? If you go to blogger.com, you could create your own blog. Now, you don't have to use blogger.com. You could use wix.com. You could use, what's the really pretty one that everybody uses? WordPress.com. You could use Schoology. You can use Edmodo. You can use a lot of things. I prefer to put my material as public as possible so my students don't have to negotiate the whole thing about passwords. Later on, they're going to have to learn about passwords, but what I try to do is lower that tech threshold as low as I possibly can for them to get in, figure out things, what's going on, and basically start learning more about the American internet. Because my students are particularly coming from Vietnam and China. The internet works a lot a bit differently there. So basically having them learn how to navigate the American internet in English is a much different experience, and I'm trying to provide them a safer experience here. And if you notice, like for instance, like if you go to Rong Chan's website, or if you go to ESL Library, no, not ESL Library, EL Civic's website, those things are loaded up with advertising like crazy. My blog has no advertising whatsoever on it. So you make those kind of choices, and you also have to consider if you want to keep something independent from your school, if that's part of the school rules, all those kind of things. That's a whole nother topic, and I could talk about it forever. So let me stop and let me go back to my PowerPoint, okay?
That's great. Thank you so much. Anna also put in a link in the chat for anybody who's interested in about other free blog sites.
What, just out of curiosity, what's she talking about? And thank you so much for your contribution.
The Me Aisle.
Oh, I don't know that one. Okay.
.com.
Me Aisle.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, I'm saying, okay, I'm going to go back to BPSOS again. They did some really effective stuff on Facebook with their class websites. So some people are using WeChat, or that's the preference for my Chinese students to use WeChat. So whatever works for your students to basically share content with them, creating that single spot where everybody can can access it is going to be really important. And that's why I have tried to create a single spot for YouTube. Now, for my ESL1 students, I don't have a specific dedicated channel for them, but I do have one for citizenship, and I've really built that one up. I'm using my blog more to deliver that video content for them. Instead of them going to YouTube, they're basically going to the blog. But for my citizenship student, a lot of times they're going to the YouTube channel first. And I have to remind them, you guys, we have a blog. Please go and visit me on the blog. And they're like, yeah, teacher. When are you going to post my videos? So anyway, so much for that. Everybody wants to be a YouTube star, right? So we want to talk about adding more content. Okay, so I think I talked about saving a whole playlist from another channel. So this is what I did with Jennifer ESL, going in and grabbing that URL. And basically learning, talking about repositioning the playlist on the channel. So again, how I had on that channel is that I started simple and got progressively higher in the literacy level. I talked about this already, the other channel resources. Again, we have Mark Kulik, Jennifer ESL, I'm sorry, 7 ESL, Jennifer ESL, VOA. I want to talk about using YouTube videos in the classroom. And then I want to do a demo if we have a time of uploading a video. How am I doing on time? Do I have about half an hour?
Yes, you're doing great.
Okay, so one of the big things is I think We Speak New York City, new NYC City of New York.us episodes. Now, originally this was a series made in 2008. It was broadcasted on network TV or educational TV in New York. They had a really great series of PDFs and translations of the different scripts in multiple languages, and the stories were really compelling about people learning about financial literacy, but it would be married with something about love. Or people would be learning about asthma, but they were all actors on a soap opera. So there was always this kind of high interest element. There's a story, but there's also a real high interest thing. My favorite one, and which I think is really appropriate for COVID-19, a woman is in the hospital and she's profoundly depressed and she's basically giving up. And one of the nurses basically taps her and reminds her that she's a great artist. And the artwork that she does in response of the love and care that she receives in the hospital inspires the nurses themselves to create their own art show. Now, I know that sounds really, really hokey, but it also really spoke to the whole taboo subject about depression, and that has been a real problem, especially during this time. They have since produced another series in 2018, 2019, and they included 2 videos about participating in the census. So I know the whole thing about the census is not over. July 16th, those census workers are going to start coming around, making around the rounds to our houses, asking questions. And we only have about 63 or 64 response rate, which is really way down. And California cannot be, no one can afford being uncounted now. So learning about that, still talking about it, and then basically extending those lessons out to the American community survey, where it asks even deeper questions about education and immigration status is really important. So I think we need to basically develop out our census curriculum and still teach this in the fall. Next one that I want to talk about is this is a really interesting website, youglish.com, and basically it's a website that's pulling videos from YouTube. So you put in a search term like binge watch, and they're going to pull out maybe about 50 videos where the term binge watch is used. So it starts about a minute before the person actually uses the word binge watch. And then it's basically going to give you closed captions. And the whole point is, originally it was used for a pronunciation tool, but I think it's much more valuable as a pragmatics or a semantics tool. So, or looking at idioms, et cetera, et cetera. So using this tool to teach about basically advanced spoken English is going to be really, really important. So again, this is youglish.com. Anyway, has anybody used youglish.com? No? Okay. Using YouTube in the classroom, I want to talk about how do you create a closed exercise. So Jennifer was putting out a really great video about how to write a business email. And I'm like, oh, this would be such a good, something so good to teach my advanced students. So I said, well, wait a minute, she doesn't have any closed captions, but wait a minute. Let's see if you go down here with the ... it's like, to me, it's like 3 little camels or cargo ships fall. Alisa, what do you usually call these?
The melted snowman.
The melted snowman?
Yeah.
The keeled over snowman? Okay, got it. Okay.
We try not to use that one.
Or Amazon boxes coming your way. I don't know. So you basically you don't want to report the video. You want to open the transcript. And if you open this transcript and then hit the snowman on the top, you can toggle the timestamps on and off. If you toggle them off and simply highlight all the text, then you can slap it into a Word document and you have basically a transcript. Now what I used to do with my advanced students, it was basically, do you see, it was English auto-generated. So sometimes there would be some mispronunciations of words, or you don't know exactly where the sentences stop and start and stuff like that. So I was having my ESL6 students basically going in and basically working with this auto-generated transcript. And it was a very interesting way to basically correct and edit somebody's spoken language, and it was really helpful. You could create closed listening exercises from this. You could do all sorts of things. So if you walk away with one thing from this webinar, try to create a transcript from a video. It's going to be really helpful. So everybody take a picture of this, and I'm going to move on. Okay. One of my other favorite ways to basically use videos in the classroom is I embed them in blog posts, and I usually associate them with some sort of citizenship quiz, etc., etc. I can also use Edpuzzle, so I basically have taken a VOA video, which is 1 minute long, about George Washington, and I stuck 10 questions in there. That is really stupid. If you have a minute video, maybe do it have a question maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times, but anything more than that, you're just chopping it too fine, and you're really, it's too much quizzing for just a minute. But if you have longer videos, it's going to basically help the students break up the video and be able to digest that video. Of course, you can take up your assessments with Nearpod and Pear Deck. Any Nearpod or Pear Deck fans in the house?
I love Pear Deck.
Really? What do you use Pear Deck for?
Well, mostly I use it for when we were doing face-to-face what do you call them? Workshops for the teachers. But with my students, when we were in class, we were using it for formative assessment. Were you using it, embedding videos in there? No, I don't believe so, because I'm beginning literacy, so I was literally just trying to get them to drag to the right answer and give things and give their opinions about stuff.
Opinions, just tell us the answer. But that's always a big deal about like a lot of our students. It's like, please just give us the answer. And students want to be right. They want to please the teacher, but it's kind of like, you learn more in the info gap type of sections as opposed to me just handing you the answer. So you'll remember a little bit better. But anyway, and then of course you can use Google Forms. So I was embedding a lot of census videos in there and basically checking for understanding there. So I basically want to go on and do a demo about uploading a video and how I go through the processing of that. Is that okay with everybody? All right, so what I wanted to do is I have a 22-second video here that do people see what I'm saying, a video? What I did was I went to, let me see if I can go back to YouTube. YouTube. If I on my YouTube channel and I want to upload something to my video, how am I going to get it there? I look for this little plus sign with the video camera. I click that. I basically choose the video, which I've already done. And now I'm getting ready to upload it to my website. So here I'm going to basically change the title. So this night, her name is Shufen. Or actually, I'm going to basically say Oath of Truth. I could put in a description like, I promise to tell the truth. Now, here I can upload a thumbnail. And so if I want to upload a thumbnail, how do people make thumbnails? Let me show you something real quick about that. So I'm going to have to come over here. Alisa does a really nice job in PowerPoints. Yeah, PowerPoint, right? Is that how you were doing most of your thumbnails?
Yeah, I made them on Google Slides and then
Oh,
took
Google
screenshots.
Slides, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, don't do what I did.
No, they were great. I can tell you that students are so happy to see their teacher. It's like, good, we're in the right place. That's what we want, okay? So what I would do is basically here. There's another free resource called Canva, canva.com. I have a lot of different designs that I've created for my videos throughout the world. I want to create something new, so I'm going to say, basically, I want to create a design. I want to create a YouTube thumbnail. Basically, I can upload a certain type of video. Or sorry, a picture. I'm going to make it big. I'm sure, well, no, that's not, I don't like that one. You know what? It would take me too long to find the right one, okay? Basically here, I can choose the title. I'm going to add a heading. I can basically change the name. I'm going to say Oath. O-A-T-H. So now I simply download it. So now it's downloaded and it's added to my, I'm going to find it in my downloads. I'm going to go back to my channel and I can upload this new thumbnail, verify. Yes, it does represent my video. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so now I can basically, again, upload that thumbnail, download. And this one is add a heading, open. So now, is this made for kids? No, it's not made for kids. I need to, do I want to edit to my vegetable list? No, I don't want to do it for vegetable list. I want to create a new list, and I'm going to say beginning citizenship. And then next. Oh, you know what? I want to make this unlisted. And the reason why I want to make this unlisted is I want to basically share it only with my student Shufen. So because she's a little bit nervous, she's not ready to fully share everything yet. So only she and I are going to be able to see this. Now the video elements, do I want to add any cards? No. Visibility, I want to make this unlisted because again, I only want her to be able to see it. I'm going to save it. So now this is the video that I can use, or this is the link that I can use to email that to Shufen or any of her friends, and so they can watch it over and over again.
Jennifer, does your district have a policy on if a student is featured in a YouTube video publicly that they have to have a signed consent?
Okay, so that's a really good question. We have to, when our students now come into the school, they have to sign video releases or photo releases, okay? So that's been standard procedure for about 5 years. I started doing this stuff way before that, and I get a little bit of leeway because I'm using I'm working with adults, number one. Number two, I don't put any real information out. All the what is that called? Like the birth dates, all the addresses, all that kind of stuff is fake. Even ages, that kind of stuff is fake. Okay. So, any other questions about that?
No, we're all good.
Okay, so
You
now
have 15 minutes.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit it. And what happens when I edit it? I want to go in and work with the subtitles. So this is the language that we're working on. We're basically going into English. I want to confirm that. So it's going to take a little bit, a little while for them to add the information. And sometimes, let's see if they've done it. Yeah, okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to create subtitles. So here, oh, maybe I hit that a little bit too early.
Okay. Okay, please raise your right hand.
So here I can, a lot of times, I think I didn't let it process long enough. So here I'm basically transcribing. Please raise your right hand.
Do you promise?
Okay, so now, I'm only going to do about 2 or 3 sentences. Do you promise to tell the truth? Now, so let's take a look at it now. We're going to go back to the beginning and let's see if the things ever adds up, if it's correct.
Okay. Okay. Okay, please raise your right hand.
So apparently I didn't start that easy enough, early enough. Let me take a look at it again.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you promise?
Okay, so I didn't put that in the right place. I have to move that over. And let's see if that's correct.
Do you promise to tell the truth?
Oh, and I didn't spell tell correctly. Okay, let's fix that.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so she says, yes, I do. So at this time, we can save the changes. And now we have 2 of these. We have basically the English automatic that basically has basically
Okay.
transcribed.
Okay, please raise.
Because I've only allowed it a very short time for it to process the information. It's basically recorded what I said. It recorded it accurately. But again, I would have to go back and edit this. So why don't I do that? So I'm going to edit this. This is basically the automatic. And basically, I don't want people to see the okay. I want to basically use that and make this more grammatically correct. Please raise your right hand. Etc., etc. So this can get really tedious, and I have spent way too many hours doing it. Again, I want to basically save this, and I want to go on and show other things that you can do, okay? So here, the point is that students, when they choose to have subtitles, a lot of times it's English automatic. However, sometimes YouTube is not really good at transcribing the English correctly. It's only as good as it can be. So this one is going to say, this is YouTube's version of what is said. In the English version, this is where you can correct it and make it grammatically correct. I want to go back to YouTube Studio. I could say a lot more about the video, about the about the videos. Here I can basically change it to be listed and unlisted. I can also change, like for instance, I decided that I really don't like my voice in that. I want to replace it maybe with, let's see, don't want to promote it. Don't want to come, I want to basically change, oh, this is it. I wanted to go to, no, I wanted to go to videos. Here I can basically replace the audio here in editor. Get started. I could basically put in music. So here I can change the music, and instead
Please raise your right hand.
Instead of listening to my voice, I could replace it with some music. So save change. So I can take out my audio and I can put in music if I want to, or if I could put in other people's voices, basically doing the same transcript. And that's what people have actually done. They've taken my videos and they've replaced it with machine voices. So anyway, you can play around with that kind of stuff in editor. So again, where did you find that? You found that in videos. You click that, you say details. Here's the editor. And basically you can come back and start playing around with this. You can play with subtitles, you can play with settings. This is really important here also in comments, and oh, here you can say stuff about money. Does anybody have some real questions about subtitles? Because if they do, I'm going to have to switch over to my other account to show people.
So far, we don't have any about subtitles, but I do have a couple of questions. The part about the editor, that's a paid service. Is that right?
I don't think so. I have never paid for editing on YouTube.
Okay, because I thought when I was playing with it, when I clicked on editor, it was something like, do you want like the free trial or something, you know, kind of like the lead into a freemium type thing, but I could be wrong about that. But then also Tom had a question about thumbnails, back to thumbnails.
Sure.
Do they have to be any particular file types?
The ones that I usually download are PNGs. I've only worked with PNGs and JPEGs. What is he trying to work with?
No, it was just a question in general.
Yeah, GIFs they usually are not, they don't have the good density for GIFs. So, and when I've taken screenshots on older computers that don't have very good resolution, they look absolutely terrible on YouTube. So it's only as good as the graphic you're going to use.
Great. And then Melinda had put in the chat that you may have been grandfathered into the editor for free, but maybe now people with new channels, it's a paid service. So that's something to look into. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Alisa, if you could look into that, I would really super appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. And so any other questions?
No, you're good. You have about 8 minutes.
Okay, so if nobody doesn't have any questions, let me switch over to my my channel, which is a little bit more robust. I have about 500 different. I have about 500 different videos on here. Lots of different playlists. Trying to get, and this one's a little bit interesting. It's like it shows some of the private stuff that I listen to. Maybe I don't want people to know that I listen to a lot of Indigo Girls. So Indigo Girls are great, but anyway, I would have to go back and make sure that I'm representing my school or my brand accurately. Here's something that I try to do every day. I can't upload a video every day, but I can share videos from other people like VOA and like New York Times and make comments about them and talk about how they have a relationship with citizenship. This one's really interesting from Timeless Reader. They did the meaning of 4th of July for the Negro. Or if I did a whole series of, wrote a whole series of posts about, oh, this one. For instance, I did this one and then I put it together with an ed puzzle. So if they click this one, they can immediately go and do the ed puzzle. So they're answering a series of questions about this woman who is a police officer and how she's responding to the Black Lives Matters demonstrations. So that kind of stuff has been very helpful for some of my students, that they have really responded well to that. Channels. And when I talk about channels, these are my preferred channels that some of my students can go and take a look at. So for instance, the featured channels specifically related to citizenship. And then these are my subscriptions. Got way too many gardening channels and a new kitty channel. So taking a look at that. And then the about, oh wow, I joined in 2008. But not a lot of description on there. So need to probably brush that up a little bit more.
So, okay,
Yeah.
so there was a question in the, from actually one of the teachers that I work with at my district, and she was on our district, our club, our district email YouTube, and when she hit my videos, it said that, the videos or the channel was not able because of GGUSD. So it's probably a good point, maybe if you can talk a little bit about using a school email account versus a Gmail account.
Okay, I really see the value of using a school email account because you're representing your school. So if you're driving interest in your school, of course you use your school account. However, there's always limitations associated with school accounts. I know, for instance, for a long time, my own school was blocking my channel. And it's like, wow, you guys, you're so mean. But anyway, so the fact that I created an independent account gave me much more freedom to reach out to basically help other students. So if you're really intent on if you want to keep things private, and if you want to keep things only for your students, that's good. However, sometimes students might have alternative email accounts when they log into YouTube, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult them to find you, participate in the comments, those kind of stuff. So I personally would probably create something, and I've been very happy creating stuff by myself and sharing that way.
Great. Thank you so much for addressing that. And then also Jennifer asks, if you have already created 500 plus videos, what motivates you to continue to create new posts? And how would you describe the teaching value of these compared to the ongoing investment of time to create them?
Well, for instance, citizenship has changed since I started teaching in 2003. So you have to basically keep on creating new content. Most people, especially with citizenship, are addressing the civics questions. I'm not particularly interested in addressing the civics questions because nothing I think could beat Smithsonian, or if students are looking at civics contents, they're always looking at the flashcards. So I prefer, because most of the citizenship test or interview, 90% of it is related to the N400. I basically go after and focus in on that. Now I know some channels do the same thing over and over again, but what I want to do is basically tailor my learning and focus it in on the students. So, and I think students learn the best from other students. So they're watching this other students or the students at Milpitas. How are they responding to the questions? What kind of coping mechanisms do they have when teacher Jennifer starts stammering, okay? And how do they ask for further clarification? So I still see a value of creating new content so the students can continue to see themselves within this content. So, I mean, I could go on, but does that answer, do you feel like that answers the question?
I think so. And if anybody else has more questions, then you can put it in the Q&A or come to the office hours, and we can have people answer the questions there too. We have just about 1 more minute.
Okay, I have one other tip for people. A lot of people are having problems like they have old WAV files or old MP3 files. And how do they convert them? So there is a third-party software program called Auphonic, AUPHONIC Productions. So basically what I would do, I would say I have a new production. I want to choose the file. I'm saying, hey, when I was speaking on that video with Shufen, it was really, really low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically upload it, go to the Zoom, grab it from the Zoom somewhere. Okay, there it is. I'm going to choose the file. And then here I can say, I can turn it into MP3. Now what's an MP3? MP3 would be only for audio. So she has a listening device that could be only MP3. Or I can change it into a video. If I want to change it into a video, so I can embed it into a Google form, or I can embed it into something from Edpuzzle, or put it on my YouTube channel, I could basically then, so I can do the MP3, I can do the video, but I can also choose an image. And this is where I can go back and grab that thing that I made in Canva and basically add that. So now I'm going to start production. It's just going to take probably a minute for it to basically process. But it's automatically going to basically show this video, and you can download the video and you can download the audio. I'm sorry, I forgot I already had audio. So this is now, if you download it, you can immediately upload it to YouTube. The sound quality will be better. If you want an MP3, you can basically share it as an MP3. So that's something really quick. Play around with Auphonic. It's really, really helpful for you to convert your old WAV files, those kind of things.